Hey, what's up everybody? We're going to do a comparison video today between the Airlift 3P and the Airlift 3S. These are two similar systems, but there are some very key differences between the two, so we're going to review that today. I'm going to give you a standpoint from installation and just user friendliness between both of them, how they function, what the key differences are. So we're going to get into it now, and let's start off with the Airlift 3P. Alright guys, we are in my car, 9th Gen SI 15. So I have Airlift 3P. Okay, so this is the remote that comes with the 3P 3H systems, and you can get this for the 3S as well. It just doesn't function the same. So I'm going to show you guys how this functions with a 3P system. So let me turn the car on. As soon as you power the car on, the remote should be coming right on. Now basically what we're looking at is all of my corners. So this is the air that's in each one of my corners. My ride height is 50, preset on, preset ride. It's at 51 in each corner. That's perfect. And this is the tank pressure, which is at 146. Should be anywhere between 145 and 150 is where it maintains it at. Once this drops below 130 psi, it automatically triggers the compressors to come on to refill the tank. So for example, with the 3S, you need a pressure switch. The switch in the tank, which is taking up an extra port that you could use for something else, is telling the compressors when to come on, and they usually come on at a much lower level. Like for example, in the TL that you'll see in the video, that comes on at 110 psi. So mine will come on at 130, his comes on at 110. And in his car, honestly, he needs it to come on quicker considering how much air that needs to get into those front corners. So overall, this is a lot more manageable. It's easier to see, know where you're at. You know, I know what's in each corner of my car. I know how much is in my tank. You know, if I'm driving and something changes, you know, it'll tell me. I'll know, like, hey, look, you know, I'm letting this out manually right now, just letting some air out. It does automatically put air back into the tank when driving, so it does have a preset maintained. So when this is actually driving and, you know, let's say this bag happened to go down to 46, it'll automatically put it right back up to 50. So what I did is I just did it manually because we're not moving. I just hit the button and it threw us right back to the same preset all the way around. But you know, this has a lot more manageable settings and options as far as knowing what your pressures are, where you're at, what needs what, and it's easier to see where you're at. You know what I mean? I know where all my presets are. Like if I want to go up higher, it's 80. That's my like stock ride height. See, you can hear the compressors went on because it went below 130 psi. Alright, now we'll hear these compressors on until it gets back to 150, and you can see how this is automatically adjusting to the correct height. So my preset was 80. It's not always 100%, but it'll always get it within a pound or two of the preset, which is fine. I mean, it's not detrimental. Honestly, you probably wouldn't even notice a pound or two difference, you know, when driving or things of that nature, or by look, you definitely can't tell the difference between 1 or 2 psi, you know, up or down. So you see it went to 149, cut off, perfect, we're refilled, and you know, this is fully visible. I know everything. I know what's in each of my corners, and I know what to expect where I'm at. This also has a lot of good settings and things that you can do. I can calibrate this to make sure that it's actually sending the correct pressures into each corner. So what I'm going to do is scroll down to calibration. It says the system is calibrated because I've done it in the past, but I'm going to go ahead and recalibrate it right now. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Is it on a level surface? Yes. The front wheel straight? Yes. Is the vehicle and all wheels free of obstructions? Yes. Is your manifold mounted? Yes. I have 2 compressors. And do I have height sensors? No, I do not. Vehicle will now move. Am I ready? I am ready. So what this is doing is going to readjust my suspension. So the car is going to move. It's going to fluctuate a little bit. Alright, so the front just dropped down. Bringing her back up. Now it's going to be doing a lot of different movements throughout this process, so I'm sure you guys don't want to see this whole calibration process, but this is just so you guys can get an idea of what this does. It fully get your system in calibration, and it'll make sure that all your presets and all the pressures are going in accurately. You know, the ride height reflects correctly, and that everything is actually functioning how it should. So I calibrate my system every once in a while. Sometimes after a while you'll notice it takes a little bit more to level out. It might send a little bit more pressure into the bags than it used to, so then you just got to recalibrate it. But it's nothing crazy. I mean, I've probably done this about 5 times, 6 times after setting it up initially, since I've had the car on bags, which has been about 4 years now. So like I said, this is very manageable, and in my opinion the 3P makes it extremely manageable, especially with all these settings and options that you have to see where you're at, what corners are at what, all the, you know, ride height maintains, and all the things that it does in order for it to make sure the system is operating at its full potential. So this is now at the rear, still in the rear. And the cool thing is it'll, once it drops below a certain pressure on the calibration, it'll also refill. So it's kind of just adjusting itself out now. Alright, and there you see, guys, it wasn't that long. Pressure control calibration is successful. System is ready to use. So, sorry about the crappy camera work, guys. It's kind of hard to look at this through the phone. But it just leaves your, you know, pressures at a random height wherever it left off, so you can see it kind of got us at the same range in the front and the rear. Compressors are coming on. I'm going to go ahead and put this to ride height. You can see how it's adjusting itself, so it just didn't throw the air in from the original preset hit. It actually is adjusting it and making sure that it's the correct amount. And it is ensuring that we have the correct pressures in all of our corners. So this is just, you know, adjusting, ensuring we got the correct pressures in all our corners for presets. And you know, this makes managing this and viewing this pretty easy and pretty user-friendly in my opinion. And the cool thing is when I'm driving, I keep it right here. So let's just say, God forbid, if something detrimental happened, I would be able to see on my remote that one of these corners was losing air. To say, you know, oh, this one would be at 30. I know something's wrong. I can pull over, I can adjust it, I can put air in it if it didn't already adjust itself, which it should do. It's just a peace of mind to see where you're at and know exactly what's in your bags and how it's functioning. So, alright guys, so now that you've seen essentially with the remote and how the 3P functions and how it looks, I'm going to give you guys an example of what I mean when I'm driving, and you can see just how the bags react, how everything functions, and you know, just to get a good idea of what it would be like experiencing the 3P from a driving perspective. See, I know where my pressures are. They don't seem fluctuating. The windows up probably sounded like crap, but see, I know where my pressures are. I'm hitting bumps. You know, they don't move all around. It's a good peace of mind to see where you're at, to know what pressures are in each corner. It's just a lot better experience, in my opinion, just to know where you are. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but I just hit a huge bump. I'm hitting a huge turn. You know, you might see a couple pounds here and there fluctuate, but it always goes back to where it needs to be. And I mean, I'm doing a whole bunch of turning. And that's why you're seeing a little bit of the reading going from, you know, all over the place. But look, we're straight line again, right back to where we need to be. Keeps it in that within 2 psi range. So, you know, you always know where you're at. You got a good preset. It maintains the preset ride height, and you know where you're at. Guys, just to give you a quick visual, I'll go ahead and air her out for you real quick. The air out. Alright. See, we got preset, and that's where I got it. I had it at like 20 and 10, and 10 in the front, and and then 20 in the back. I like to manually adjust it down to 0 just because it makes me feel better. But you don't have to. I mean, you can let it dump to 0. You know what I mean? It's gonna be fine. But that's just where I got it set up. So let's air back up. Okay, the remote's pretty responsive. So she shot right back up. Alright. See, setting herself there for the preset. See how that middle button's blinking is letting you know that it's still adjusting to the preset. And once that stops, it should be right in the range of your preset, which we are. Like I said, we are right in that 1 to 2 pound PSI range. There you go, guys, 50 at every corner. Compressors aren't on long, right at 150. And that is perfect. You know what I mean? This is just got calibrated, gets it right to where it needs to be, shows you everything. It just makes it a lot easier. So that's alright, how you guys? Alright guys, here is an overview of the 3S system. So a lot of this falls in line with 3P. It's going to look the same, although this needs a pressure switch, which is this right here, in order to function. The 3P does not need a pressure switch, so that's one less port that you're going to need in your setup, or a port that you could utilize for something else. Maybe do something cool with it, put an external gauge, run an airline. These are where you can put analog manual gauges to see where your pressures are for each and every corner, as well as the tank. That is not needed on the 3P because you'll see all that on the controller itself for the 3P. The 3S, there is no seeing the pressure. Okay. Alright guys, we're out here with the TL. Now, this is connected with the app. This is the 3S. This does not come with the controller. I've had a bit of trouble with the app, as is the owner of this car. I'm actually using my girl's phone now because I couldn't get it to connect to it, either my phone or an old Success I had, but this paired up immediately, so it's pretty weird. Sometimes there is connection issues trying to pair with this app, so it'll say like connection timeout or just unknown error. Alright guys, so I'm gonna see if I can give you a little bit of insight into how this controller, or I should say the app, which functions as the controller, has a little bit of issues. So if you saw, I was using my girl's phone, which was the purple life-proof case, so you can distinguish what phones are what. This is an old Success I have, which at one point was functioning with this system, but the other phone is nowhere around. Bluetooth is off of it, so this is only allowing to pair one device at a time, which makes sense, but the other phone is nowhere around, so this should allow us to pair with this no issues at all. Now, it does recognize every single time. It'll always recognize the manifold, so it'll say discovering the ALP3 devices. It always knows that the 3S manifold is here, but it doesn't always connect with it. That's my issue with this app, so let's see what happens. It's probably going to make a liar out of me and actually connect. See, no. Alright, so this is one of the errors that I'm getting frequently when trying to connect, and if I hit it again, it'll probably crash. Yep, see, open it back up, shows it again, tries to connect, and it just keeps doing the same thing. So this is one of the issues with the app, is Bluetooth connectivity crashing, the responsiveness of it. It's just could be a lot better. So if you are going to get the 3S, at the very least I would say get the controller, because utilizing this app is just a bit much. So let's go ahead and get this thing aired out, and I'll show you guys the functionality of the Airlift 3S with the app. Let's go ahead and try this out, see how we go here. So pressure based. In fact, all the presets, we look here, the presets are actually ran off of seconds. So if you look, you go to presets, oh, wrong button. That's how much time each corner has on time from the manifold for air shooting in. So air shooting into this for 6.5 seconds. Air shooting into that for 2.5 seconds. This is not something that you would see on a 3P or 3H setup. 3H and 3P utilize pressure, and you'll see a pound. So you'll see the PSI in each corner on the main screen. So if we go back, this is how the 3S main screen will look. On the app, or even if you get the controller, it still is going to reflect just like this. Will not tell you pressure in each corner. That is a 3P and 3H feature only. Okay, so this is the app on the 3S. This is all you'll see basically. You do have presets, so you can set this to, you know, air out preset, center preset, you know, up preset, you know, higher preset, whatever you want to do. So you can utilize you know, these for presets just as you would on the normal controller in a 3P setup or anything like that, although you just can't see what each one is going to put your car to, you know, as far as pounds are concerned. So you're just going in blind. So that is my biggest gripe with the 3S, other than the app functionality and how poorly it works. It's just not seeing what's in each corner. I'm a big fan of Airlift, and I do like all their setups, but this is not the most ideal thing. I would recommend, you know, going with the 3P. It's just my preference. I have 3P on my car, but alright guys, so there you have it. I mean, overall 3P gets my recommendation hands down. From an installation standpoint, 3P is easier. The harness comes already pre-assembled. Everything is just a plug and play harness, where the 3S you kind of have to wire it up and make your own harness, which if you check my TL video, the bag build, I do have the assembly for a dual compressor wiring harness, how to make it for a 3S. It's not anything crazy, but at the end of the day, a plug and play is easier than making and assembling your own wiring harness. So you know, the price difference isn't that huge when you factor everything. If I remember correctly, Bag Riders has the 3S system for $1,200 right now, and they have the 3P for $1,640. So for about $450 difference, you know, you could get the 3P with all the extra functionality that you really could utilize and to really make it a very manageable system. The 3S does not come with the controller, so that's another thing you need to remember. And when buying the controller, I believe it's around $300. I mean, that puts you at $1,500 right there. So if you got a 3S with a controller, we're looking at $1,500 when you can get the 3P with the extra features with the controller for another $140. So in my opinion, getting the 3P is a no-brainer, especially when it has all the extra functionality, and, you know, really to get the 3S to, you know, be really manageable, see everything, have the gauges on the manifold. I mean, the money you would spend, it probably end up being more than the 3P anyway. So that's my opinion. I have 3P. Nothing wrong with the 3S. I like Airlift. I like all their products. I just think the 3P is a much more manageable system, much more user-friendly. It's my opinion, of course. Hopefully you see why I feel that way. If you got any comments, questions, any personal experiences, feel free to leave them below. And stay tuned for the next one. We're gonna have some more bag content for you guys soon. So stay tuned. I'll catch you the next one, guys. Peace.